Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the channel for today's Raptors Happy Hour live stream here for Monday, December 8th. We're going to be spending the next hour talking all things Raptors. We're going to be chatting with you in the chat. Anything you have to say, any questions you have, please send them on in. But as for myself, today we're going to be focusing on yesterday's loss to the Boston Celtics. We'll talk about what was another disappointing performance that was masked by a 30-8 run, which is obviously spectacular, but it was not a good performance other than a 30-8 run, which made the game close for a little bit. In fact, gave us the lead for a little bit. But we'll talk about what went wrong there, what's been going wrong for the Raptors. We're going to dig in a little bit more into the recent run of games. Raptors have now lost 5 of the last 6. So we're going to be going through a little bit more in depth on those games, trying to see what's really going on, what's been happening to the Raptors. Like, after all, they won 9 games in a row, and now they're here. 5 of the last 6 they've lost, and amongst those 5 losses, some of them have looked really, really bad. Like, they've just been so bad. Like, it's the manner of the losses that's quite annoying. And then we're going to preview what is going to be a large game for the Raptors. NBA Cup quarterfinals for the first time in their history. I know NBA Cup's only 3 years old now, but first time Raptors have gotten out of the group. They have an NBA Cup quarterfinal game against the New York Knicks at the Scotiabank Arena. So a good opportunity for the Raptors to advance, get themselves to Vegas. Semifinals will be in Vegas. The Raptors can get that far. So we'll talk about that. Raptors currently underdogs at home, but again, we'll dig in a little bit more there. But along the way, like I said, anything from the chat, we will listen in. We will read what you guys have to say and respond to it. And we'll have some fun with today's content. So hopefully everyone's having a good Monday. Mondays are my very busy day, but managed to get in home in time to get through and get on for the stream today. How's everyone's Monday going? What you got planned today? No Raptors tonight. Nice to get a little night off, to be honest, amidst this bad run. G yourself up for tomorrow's game against the Knicks. Gonna hit the gym after this. Gonna watch some Monday Night Football. Should be a good day. Should be a good day, I think. So hopefully you got something good lined up as well. Okay. Sorry, my fiance's leaving, and my dog doesn't want to be alone. Hopefully my dog will join me. Yesterday during the stream, my dog just slept right beside me the whole time. She never does that. She usually is like barking and nagging at me, but no, not for this one. But anyways, let's see what's up to the people that are in the chat. We've got SP007 here with us. We have Daniel Berry Sports Highlights. We have Majed Basil. Hopefully I said that right. Sorry if I said it wrong. It's a tough one. Anybody else in the chat right now? Come through. Say what's up. Get the chat popping a little bit. Get the questions coming through. Whoever brought up the win streak in post-game interviews, I blame them. Well, I mean, they brought it up probably when it was 4 or 5, maybe even 3 wins, and they still won more games after that. So I don't think necessarily asking the players about the win streak is the reason they've now lost 5 of the last 6. And if it is, maybe bring up the losing streak, and then they'll fix up and they'll start to win more. Because I haven't been winning much in the last week. David Ray says, hey, everyone, happy Monday. Happy Monday to you. Majed says, fire Darko. I'm definitely not at the fire Darko stage right now. He's definitely earned himself a chance to see how he can keep going with the season, but the last little bit has been disappointing, and some of the rotations were a bit disappointing. I understand going back to the starters for the last little bit of the game against the Celtics, despite the bench making most of the comeback, but I wasn't so sure about quickly being in. And Jakob Poeltl, I mean, he should have come in to give Mamu like a slight rest, but Mamu should have been in for longer than he was. I know he was in for a lot, but he probably should have been in a bit longer than he was. Let's dig into this game here. So, as for the Raptors, pretty ugly game from the starters. All of them were -8 or worse. Scotty Barnes played pretty well, to be honest. He played really well, to be honest. 18 points, 11 and 8. Kind of did everything he could for the team. Ingram, 11 of 20, had a big night on offense. I don't know why there were people in the chat that were saying, like, why bring in Ingram? We have the bench doing so well. No, you bring in Ingram's balling all night. You know, you want him to be closing those games, a chance to win the game against the Celtics before they kind of pulled away late. Quickly was not much of a factor. He had a pretty poor game. Troy Walter was awful, just truly awful. Wouldn't be too surprising to see him not start the next. I think he will. He's had some good games. I think he will start the next game, but I won't be surprised if they were to go to Abaji, who did have a good game here. 4, 7, 11 points. Abaji's probably most impactful game of the season. Great night for Mamu, plus 12. He was providing a lot more stability at center than Jakob Poeltl did. Oh, my God, guys. That was the worst I've seen Jakob Poeltl play in a long time. Like, Jakob Poeltl's very good, and Raptors win percentage increases, like, drastically when he's in versus when he's not in. And I keep saying this, but good Lord. I mean, this season as a whole, it's been, like, a little bit underwhelming for Poeltl. But, like, that game in particular, every possession, the Celtics were hunting him. And when they got him, they scored. Like, part of the reason the defense was so bad was because of Jakob Poeltl in that game. He was just truly awful. He was minus 18. He was 4-9, and he scored. I think he had 10 points, but he missed a lot of, like, easy buckets as well. His usage is going to be lower naturally. You insert Brandon Ingram into the team. Poeltl's usage is going to be lower. He's gone from taking 10 shots a game to 6 shots a game. 10 points, 8 rebounds. Like, it's fine. Like I said, the usage is down. In fact, he's been more efficient in that stretch. Like, if we look at, like, per 36 numbers, actually his per 36 is a bit down, but again, his field goal attempts are down, which makes it, his field goal attempts are way down. So naturally, you are going to see a dip in his points production. Not as sizable of a role. That's okay. The defense has been the bigger concern for me. And I mean, you look at, like, the upcoming contract is definitely going to get a tiny bit alarming here. Like, $19.5 million this season, $19.5 million next season. That's okay. That's fine. But, like, if he's like, I think this is like, Poeltl's a great player, and you gotta pay great players, especially to keep them in Toronto. But if his body is already, like, breaking down and, like, injuries are becoming this much of a thing, like, he's clearly still not 100%, and he isn't playing back-to-backs right now. Like, when he turns 32, this contract will kick in. He'll be making $27.3 million, and then 29.4, then 27.3. Like, I'm not saying, like, it's a bad contract. It's gonna look really bad. I'm not saying that at all. But what I am saying is that if he doesn't start to turn it around a bit, that will start to look bad. And if he's clearly not healthy. He's clearly still recovering. And look, it doesn't help the Raptors don't have a backup for him as a rim protector. So, like, they have to get Poeltl out there a lot. But he's really got to start playing better for the team. I mean, regardless of the financial aspect, he's got to do a little bit more for the Raptors then, especially in that Celtics game. Again, he was just absolutely torched in that Celtics game, unfortunately. Poeltl attempted 9 field goals, 4 of which he landed, all those remaining 5 ultimately. Well, he's not going to shoot threes, is he? Honestly, I hate this needless double teaming and leaving people wide open. I mean, there was some double teaming that was bad. Like, I remember one from Quickly where he doubled, I think might have been Jaylen Brown. He doubled somebody in the paint, and there was an easy kick out, and they made a 3. A lot of, like, the open threes came on just a simple screen, and, go past the screen, guy goes under the screen or can't fight through the screen, or the Raptors don't switch hard enough, and then open 3 there. Some of it was, like, off ball, losing a guy, trying to navigate screens. Like, there was a lot of mistakes on defense, but quite a bit of it, I think, stemmed from Poeltl's pretty poor play. It was bad. In the moment, I kind of tried to look at the positives because I was just, we got an interesting game out of it. But, like, in reality, The Raptors, other than a 30-8 run, just got, like, over the course of, like, 10 minutes or so, other than the 30, and I'm not trying to mince, like, or play down a 30-8 run. That's spectacular. That's fantastic. That's great that they did that. But, again, as much as that was impressive, other than the 30-8 run, they got absolutely destroyed. Like, other than that 30-8 run, the Raptors lost this game by 20, would it be 30 points? Yeah, because they lost by, I think. So, other than a 10-minute stretch where they made it close, the Celtics completely crushed them and had 77 points in the first half. Like, again, it was impressive to do that, have that 30-8 run, but like, the first 28 minutes of the game, like a little bit into the third quarter, the Raptors were playing so poorly. It was an unwatchable product almost from a Raptors perspective. The offense has been awful. The defense was even worse in that game. It's been bad, and that followed up a really bad game against the Hornets. Again, incredibly disappointing that they even let that happen, to be honest. So it's tough, man. All right, let's dig into the upcoming run of games and what we've seen. I mean, let's just dig in a little bit more into this awful run by the Raptors and a little bit more into the R.J. Barrett injury, because we do have an update on the timeline for R.J. Barrett's injury, which, unfortunately, it's bad news. Unfortunately, it's like pretty bad news from a Raptors perspective. So we'll have to navigate that. But the Raptors started the season 1-4, then went on a little bit of a run, then proceeded to win 9 games in a row. They were absolutely rolling. They were 14-5 on the season. A lot of belief building. They were the 2 seed in the Eastern Conference. And all of a sudden, it's starting to spiral in the wrong direction now. They have lost 5 of their last 6. They got destroyed by the Charlotte Hornets last week. Recently, other than a 30-8 run, which is impressive, but like I said, but impressive 30 run. But other than that, they got destroyed by the Celtics and didn't look good for 80% of that game. It's been a rough run of things for the Raptors, where the defense hasn't looked good, the offense has looked awful, and we're just trying to figure out why. Like, what happened? And I think, and I said this during the 9-game win streak, not to like play down a 9-game win streak, because obviously a 9-game win streak is extraordinarily impressive, but there was, and I said this during it, there was an element of luck to it. Most of it was the Raptors were playing really well and beating teams. Like, they were playing well. They had an easier part of their schedule. They were playing really well. They were beating teams. They were beating the bad teams. They were playing good teams. They were beating the good teams. They were on a really good run. Things were absolutely rolling. But there was an element of luck. They were giving, like, the amount of points they were giving up didn't quite match up to the expected points to give up based on effective field goal percentages that were giving up. They were doing really well in defending the 3, which is usually a bit of an indication of luck. Like, a bit of an indication. I think the Raptors had the best opposition 3-point percentage in the NBA. That felt like, part of that was good defense, but part of that is an element of luck, like I said. So I kind of felt like some regression was going to take place. I just didn't really expect it to this degree. Again, 5 losses in the last 6. First of those 5 to the Hornets. Raptors led by, I think it was 12. It was at least 10, but it was 12 late. I think 10 in the last 5 minutes. Charlotte come back and win. Raptors just go absolutely ice cold in the clutch and lose that game 118-111. Next game, second night of a back-to-back without Poeltl. No good backup for Poeltl. Poeltl, I mean, he hasn't played well, but that well this season, but no backup for Poeltl. Second night of a back-to-back away from home. Spanked by the Knicks. Then a nice recovery. Like, it felt like a real not get-right spot, but the Raptors kind of righting the ship, winning 121-118 to the Blazers. A bit cold in the clutch, but get over the line. It was like, okay, we're going to be all right. Just a little blip. Good win there. Lakers game was winnable. They lose in the clutch. And then they get, I mean, it's tough to really put into words how poorly they played against the Hornets here on Friday the 5th. One of the most diabolical displays you'll maybe ever see from the Raptors. And then that was followed up by the same diabolical play for the first 28 minutes against the Celtics. Then they go on a 30-8 run, take the lead, and then finish the game really poorly. The Celtics win 121-113. So it's been brutal. It's been absolutely brutal in this stretch. Not only is it the losses that are frustrating, which of course they are, but a lot of the times as well, it is the manner in which the Raptors are losing. And especially for that Hornets game, it was just so bitterly disappointing how poorly they looked in that stretch. The defense has definitely had some struggles. But I mean, you look at some of the points in this stretch. Like, I mean, you could even go a little bit further than just this 6-game run here, because you've got the game as the Hornets, we only put up 86. The other game as the Hornets, we only put up 111 in OT. Only 94 against the Knicks. Better against the Blazers and Lakers, 118-120. But even this win against the Pacers, you only put up 97 against a injury-decimated Pacers team, right? So it kind of felt like there were some issues that were sneaking in. And I mean, you look at the Raptors' offensive rating as of late. It has just been, like, awful. Just awful. Last 8 games, their offensive rating is 107.8. And this is a team that was top 8 in offensive rating to start the season. Had the highest ranked half-court offense to start the season. And 107.8 offensive rating in the last 8 games. Like, you want to put that into perspective here. The best team offensive rating in the NBA right now is the Denver Nuggets, 124. Raptors currently 115.3, 14th in the NBA, middle of the pack. 107.8 would be last in the NBA. Even worse than the Washington Wizards, 108.3. Pacers also 108.3. Dallas Mavericks, they stink, 108.6. The caliber of our offense right now, it would be the worst in the NBA. That is how bad it has been. And this 8-game run of bad offense coincides directly with the 8 games that RJ Barrett has missed on the season. 8 games in a row for RJ Barrett missed, and that is the state of the Raptors offense. And I mean, it's easy. I mean, it's very low-hanging fruit for, like, there's people in the camp that RJ Barrett's indispensable, can't trade him, way too good to trade. There's people in my camp that think the Raptors could probably upgrade the fit there and get a better player suited for the team. So this is an absolute layup for the people who are like, I told you, RJ's indispensable. I mean, it's not exactly rocket science. You take a 20-point-per-game player out of the team gets worse. That's pretty logical, right? The issue is, for me, is how much worse the Raptors' offense looks. And obviously, RJ Barrett plays a part in that. But, I mean, just for the sake of, like, what I was saying about, people thinking you could upgrade there, yeah, having RJ Barrett play 0 minutes is a lot worse than having RJ Barrett play 34, 35 minutes. That's for sure. If you did make a trade, you'd have players that come back for him and would play those minutes. And therefore, like, hopefully you'd improve based on that trade. I'm not going to sign up for, like, a salary dump trade for RJ. That just makes the team worse. We're trying to win games. I'm not going to sign up for that. But if you can find a better fit somewhere, upgrade the team somewhere, I'm all for that. But anyways, clearly the team is missing RJ Barrett. And just trying to figure out, like, how it could crumble this much without the presence of RJ Barrett on the team. Kind of investigate that in a second, because it was seemingly like when RJ Barrett got injured against the Nets, it was like, okay, RJ Barrett's going to be revalued in a week. Usually that means he'll be out a little bit more than a week. He'll be back probably in a week and a half. Well, it's been a week and a half at this point. In fact, it's been a little bit longer than a week and a half. And we finally have an update on his health status. Raptors media put out that he was diagnosed with a right knee sprain. He continues to progress. He has been treated with a platelet-rich plasma injection, and his condition will be updated in another week from now. So he was reevaluated a week, and then ended up being reevaluated a week and a half later, and now he's going to be out for at least another week before we get another update. He's played great this season, particularly on offense, and this is this is definitely a blow because obviously the offense has been worse without him in, and evidently it has been significantly worse without him in. So why? How could it fall off such a cliff? Because like Barnes has had good games in this stretch of losses, and so has Brandon Ingram. Well, I think a large part of it is that Darko's offense is very democratic, you know? It's very socialist, I guess, if you will, where everyone is going to get their fair share. A lot of touches are dispersed. A lot of players get similar usages, even at kind of in the past, the detriment of the team. Everyone's going to get their usage. Everyone is going to get their touches. So when a major part of that sharing the ball philosophy is taken out, one of your major threats scoring-wise is taken out, that's a significant blow to your team. And the Raptors have not, and Darko have not done nearly a good enough job of making the adjustments out of that and knowing that this major cog in the machine has been taken out. And RJ Barrett's play style, maybe it's not the greatest fit with the team, but it's very beneficial to have somebody who can eat up offensive reps and get downhill and get to the rim, put pressure on the rim, put pressure on the team, can run in transition. Like, all of these are good traits the Raptors have utilized very effectively this season, and all of a sudden that's not within the team, and it's an issue. And definitely they're missing out on him, but injuries happen in the league. It's unfortunate, but injuries happen. You do have to adjust without that player there, and I guess there hasn't quite been enough of an adjustment that we have seen from the Raptors. That's on the offensive side of the ball, where, yes, you're missing RJ Barrett, but on the defensive side of the ball, RJ Barrett's not a good defender, so I mean, there's not really an excuse there. I mean, the Barrett makes sense. The offense shouldn't look this bad. You have to make adjustments, but you have at least some form of an excuse there. On the other end of the floor, on defense, well, my goodness, how on earth has it looked this bad in some of the games as of late? We've gone back to like where the Raptors were in this 1-4 start, where it's erratic. Players are all over the place, don't know their responsibilities, overhelping sometimes, missing rotations, just like some of these easy mistakes that are being made. And we saw a lot of it against the Hornets. We saw a lot of it as well against the Boston Celtics. Like, yeah, the Celtics are great at scheming guys open, but like not much of an excuse against the Charlotte Hornets. It's definitely concerning, like where we're at right now. It's definitely concerning to see. And, you know, it's a small sample here, a 6-game blip, but things are coming like thick and fast, man. Like, New York, next up, that's a tough game. Milwaukee is winnable, but I don't know. The way we played, is it that winnable? Stopping Giannis, who's still there for now. Then you get Boston again. Then you get Brooklyn, which is nice. Then you get Miami, who's a great team right now. Then you get Washington. You get Golden State, not an easy game. Orlando, a tough game. Denver, very tough game. 2 games Atlanta, tough games. Like, this is a really rough stretch of games for the Raptors, and it's a really bad time to start to play like this. So maybe, I think what it is it's a little bit of a reality check. It's a little bit of a reality check for the Raptors, where we were flying high, 14-5-2 seed, and we're coming back down to earth a little bit. That, like, we were not going to be a 2 seed this season. Maybe we started dreaming of a top 4 seed, and maybe that's possible. But, you know, coming into the season, if you offered me a 15-10 start to the season, I'd be pretty happy with that. You know, if you offered me 15-10, I would have been pretty happy with that. It's just a manner in which it's gone the last few games, which has obviously been troubling and slightly frustrating. But I think we need to be realistic about our goals and say, like, we still want to be a top 6 team, and we're definitely capable of doing that. But there's been a little bit of a reality check where we come back down to earth a bit, because we're probably not good enough to be as good to be a 2 seed. So I think that's okay. Where the alarms are starting to ring is just, again, the manner in which some of these losses have occurred, where the Raptors have not found solutions in the clutch, where they've looked fatigued in this stretch of game. There's some alarms coming back in line. Overall, I think, there's fans out there. We're going to win 9 in a row. They're going to think, are we good enough to win an NBA championship? Then we're going to lose 5 in a row, and those fans are going to think, are we the worst team in NBA history? So there's obviously the extremes of it. I'd say right now, Like, alarms maybe starting to go off a little bit. Like, hey, woo, let's get this thing back on course here. But I wouldn't panic. I don't think there's a full-fledged panic needed right now. There was at least some positives to take away from that Boston game. You almost snuck out the win against the Lakers. You blew it in the clutch against the Hornets. Like, there's some positive to take away in this stretch. Enough for me to say we do not need to panic here. But, like, it's also time to start getting this thing back on track and doing it ASAP. And as that's a tough game against the Knicks to do it, no excuse not to get up for it. NBA Cup quarterfinal. So all the Raptors can do is respond on the floor, and all we can do as fans is just wait to see if they're capable of doing it. And I think they are capable. I think they are capable. I think they've given me enough confidence to say they have some capabilities in that one. RJ masking the weaknesses at shooting guard because he doing everybody's work at that position. Brandon Ingram is doing the heavy lifting as well. I mean, it's just, I don't know about doing the heavy lifting at shooting guard. I think it's just a case of RJ to Jacoby's a significant downgrade in that position. Maybe that is making it look a bit worse as well. Silverback Gorilla 16 said, I was screaming that even though our 9-game win streak was nice, I really wanted them to address the backup big man. Goddamn front office, do something. Yeah, you know, I continue to say you got to do something there. And it's true, they do have to do something there. But also, I'll give them a slight amount of slack and say it's hard to get that position sorted. But then again, I lose sympathy when it's been years of not addressing this position. So we're trying to be good now. We're good enough to be a playoff team. You have to make that. You have to get that situation sorted. It's obvious when Pirtle's out, and it's obvious right now because Pirtle's not 100% and he's not playing very well. We're missing that player, right? So definite need for fixing up there. Sorry, just remember, I got to charge my phone because I'm going out after this. Boop. 1 sec. Sorry for the interruption, y'all. The creators on this team to create their own shot. You can't afford your players who are supposed to shoot and score on your bench to give nothing and rely on stars to bail them out. Well, there have been games like that where in this stretch without RJ, that's fair. You know, there's been some games where Grady Dick and Ochai Agbaji like haven't stepped up in the bigger roles, and the stars have done a lot of the heavy lifting, and the bench hasn't helped them. Kind of different in that game against the Celtics where the bench got us back into it, but you're right. It has been a lot of you're asking guys to step up, next man up type of thing. Like, we definitely don't have that next man up sort of attitude, I guess you could say, right now, because these guys have not really stepped up there. But it's larger shoes to fill with RJ Barrett going out. RJ may not be indispensable, although lack of depth Raptors without him in the lineup doesn't surprise me given how poorly they've played during his absence. Yeah, I guess, yeah, like I said, the lack of depth, and you're exactly on the point there with that, David. Amino Speaks says, somewhere between the team that won 9 straight and the team that started 1-4. It feels like a lot more like the 1-4 team right now. I mean, no, I guess it doesn't, because like you're getting your top tier players playing extremely well still. Like, Barnes has been great in this run. So has Brandon Ingram. Okay, so maybe this somewhere in between. Closer to the 1-4 for sure. Because obviously it's five of the last 6 the Raptors have lost. Just getting in updates right now on the health status of some Knicks players. Why is the keyboard's supposed to light up? I can barely see the friggin' keys right now. Is it dying? There we go. This brightness is down. Getting in updates like right now. We're getting in updates on the status of the Knicks from a health standpoint going into tomorrow's game. Karl-Anthony Towns is going to be listed as questionable. Deuce McBride will not be available for the Knicks. And this Keegan Murray update has reminded me that I have not set my fantasy lineup, in which Keegan Murray is a part of. Let me quickly fix that. Sorry to do this right now, but gotta get it done. We will drop Walter Clayton. We will put Keegan Murray into the team. I had Walter Clayton just for one day because I needed some assists for my matchup and didn't work, but I gave it a go. And there we go. All done there. Sorry about that. Just a reminder for you to get your fantasy lineups in. And maybe the Raptors remain in their top 6 in their conference, but possibly sitting as low as 10th or even below that. Sitting at the 5 or more games below 6, likely at best playing spot. Well, I'd say so there. The East is very congested right now. Raptors currently the 4 seed after the Celtics lost. Celtics have overtaken them in this day. Celtics are on a roll, man. 10 of the last 12 games they have won. The Raptors are now 1 game up on the 9 seed Hawks. Like, very easily, the Raptors could slip into 9th after this run of games. Bit of a gap towards 10th, so I don't think they'll fall as far as 11th, but they could definitely slip towards 9th, and that would be a shame. But a small winning run, and you're all the way back up to a top 4, top 5 seed. So, very congested right now. Big battle right now, just keep the pace. Keep in the mix. Keep yourself on par with these teams, and give yourself a shot as the season progresses for sure. So OG played more games for the Knicks than quickly RJ have played for the Raptors combined. It's probably getting pretty close with all these injuries. That is a good question. I think the Raptors will have by far more games played from the 2 players than OG, who has also dealt with his injuries. But let's see what the degree of difference is. So OG has played currently 111 games for the New York Knicks in about 2 seasons of play. Now he's played like 2 half seasons and 1 full season. Quickly, we will see, has played in 90. Well, he's already played 96 for the Raptors, so I think we're going to absolutely destroy this. I think Barrett may have played more games for the Raptors than OG has for the Knicks. Barrett's played 107. And remember, obviously, injuries have played a part there, but also tanking has played a little bit of a part. Like, I think Barrett and Quickly would have played maybe 5 or 6 more games each if it wasn't for tanking. So they're close to on par with the amount of games played that OG Anunoby has for the Knicks. But neither of them played quite as much. But I think that's more so tanking than it is injuries. Though injuries, again, have played a part for mostly Quickly, but also a bit of RJ Barrett. That's an interesting one. Matucci joining us in chat. Nate D joining us in chat. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you coming through and tuning in for today. We're definitely going to see a bit of a change in the spread to where I started. But let's dig into this upcoming game against the Knicks. So, Raptors for the very first time in their NBA, in their franchise history. This is the 3rd seed of the NBA Cup. But first time the Raptors have made it out of the group stage. They're into the quarterfinals of the NBA Cup. The Raptors were so good in the NBA Cup group stage, winning all 4 games and winning by enough points that they have earned themselves a home game as well for the NBA Cup quarterfinals. But naturally, the teams that are coming out of the group stage phase and into this round are good teams. They're good teams because they are, won enough games to get to this point. And the Knicks are a good team. And the Raptors is going to be nationally televised in this one against the New York Knicks coming up Tuesday, December 9th. Tough game. And, tough game considering as well that, just about a week ago, a little bit more, the Raptors lost by 22 to the Knicks. Sure, that was a second night of a back-to-back. Sure, Jakob Poeltl was not there. But you lost big time at MSG to the Knicks. And the Raptors are coming off of a really bad run of games. So, not a lot to suggest things are all of a sudden going to turn around against the Knicks. But spread for this game is sitting at 4. It was sitting at 4.5 to 5. It's just moved because as we're doing the stream live here today. Karl Anthony Towns was listed as questionable. Deuce McBride was listed as out. So because of Karl Anthony Towns listed as questionable, it's slightly adjusted the spread to come to 4, as a bit of Raptors money has come in based on the injury news. So not great to be -4 at home. RJ Barrett's not playing, but like if this game was getting played at MSG, the spread would be like NBA home court advantage worth like 2.5 points. So if this game was at MSG, they're basically telling us this would be a 9-point spread. I feel like that wouldn't be that aggressive. But if this game was at the Knicks, which, I mean, granted, last time we played the Knicks, it was at MSG. They were 7.5-point favorites. Raptors have gotten worse since then. Value a bit less. Pearl didn't play in that game, so probably be about 7.5, 8 in favor of the Knicks. So not a large degree of confidence in the Raptors here, and kind of understandably so with this run that they've had. The Knicks are a very good team. They have showcased that this season for sure. They're 16-7. We're 15-10. We're coming down from that good start to the season. Like, it's gonna be a tough go of things for the Raptors here. Still, about a 40% chance for the Raptors to win it. And depending on how the Knicks injury report goes, things can change. But no RJ Barrett, and he won't be back for a while. So what is it going to take for the Raptors to come through and win this game? So first of all, I think the Raptors, where they do have a big edge against the Knicks, is going to be the bench. The Knicks don't possess the strongest level of bench talent. The Raptors have been getting a lot of output from their bench this season. So that's got to be some area of the game where the Raptors need to dominate a bit more. Now, given that this is NBA Cup game, first of all, NBA Cup game, this is going to be a little bit more of a playoff atmosphere. Not quite a playoff atmosphere, but it's going to be a lot more of a playoff atmosphere than just a simple regular season game. And because of the scheduling for the NBA Cup, there is a lot more of a gap in between games right now. So what that kind of means to me is that there's a little bit more of a possibility for the Knicks to run their starters a bit heavy. I guess the same can be said for the Raptors. We won't maybe see as many minutes for the bench as you may typically do in a normal regular season game state. But anyways, bench, I think, is a bit of an advantage for the Raptors. They have good defensive players that will make it life difficult for the likes of Barnes and Ingram. So, I mean, definitely need some other players to step up. Quickly cannot play like he did against the Celtics. Jakob Poeltl can definitely not play like he did against the Celtics. Walter's going to have to step up. And we'll see how Darko kind of runs with the bench here, because he went deep into the bench. Like, A.J. Lawson got some minutes. Elijah Martin even checked into the game for the Raptors. Grady Dick got kind of taken out of proceedings, didn't get many minutes. So I wonder where Darko is going to go from a bench perspective. Murray Boyles didn't play much against the Celtics. I didn't agree with that. I think against a larger Knicks team, you're going to want CMB in there. But the rotation is probably going to go pretty deep as Darko is looking to try and figure things out amidst this losing run of games for the Raptors, losing 5 of the last 6. So, it's going to be it's tough. It's tough for sure. But I think where the Raptors can find success is with their depth, and that's what they're going to have to do. And they're going to have to be better on defense. Just straight up, have to be better on defense. Mr. Reaper says, does this streak prove that RJ Barrett is the most valuable player right now? No. No. Yeah, but Barnes and Ingram are considerably more valuable to the team. And I think you'd feel their effects a lot more if they weren't in compared to Barrett. Barrett's a great player. We missed him. But no, Ingram and Barnes are more valuable to the team than he is. Raptors, I figured, would at halftime in the first of the 2 Celtics-Raptors December games lose said games, with a surprise how close the Raptors make that game. Well, took a large run to make it happen. Injury report for both teams. Jamal Shed is a little bit questionable, I think. Jamison Battle missed the last game, so hopefully he's back for that one, but he'll probably be listed on the injury report. RJ Barrett's out. Deuce McBride is out. Karl Anthony Towns is questionable, as I mentioned. So We'll see if Towns playing. Towns is questionable. He was listed as questionable about 10 minutes ago. Deuce McBride was listed as out about 10 minutes ago. The Raptors, we don't have any updates other than Barrett, who is going to be reevaluated in a week. Yeah, that is it is definitely some tough news on RJ Barrett, but it's winnable. And if you're not going to get hyped up for a game against an NBA Cup game with a chance to go to Vegas, large financial incentives the further you go in this tournament, I don't know. Maybe the sport's not for you if you're not hyped up for this game against the Knicks. Got to go and do that. If you guys are enjoying the stream so far, by the way, please make sure you do hit that like button. Like the stream. Help drive us up in the YouTube algorithm. We got 30 people watching. Only 10 likes. Let's get at least 5 more. I like when it's like half of the amount of views. But support the channel if you're enjoying the stream. I'm live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for streams like this in the form of the Raptors Happy Hour. And I do watch-alongs for most Raptors games. I'll be live Monday, Wednesday, Friday this week, 5 to 6 p.m., and I'll be live for the Tuesday game against the Knicks. And then we'll have to see schedule-wise. So I have plans on the 12th. I was kind of, amidst the Raptors' 9-game win streak, I was kind of banking on them winning this game and then getting to the semis. The semis are on Saturday. I'll be definitely available for that. If the Raptors end up losing this game, I don't know when their next game will be. They'll have another tough game, actually. But I don't know exactly when that game will be. So bear with me if I do miss the makeup game. Because if the Raptors lose their NBA Cup quarterfinal, they have to make up one of the regular season games. And they'll be playing, I think, the loser of the other Eastern Conference semifinal, which would be against either the Orlando Magic or the Miami Heat. So, not ideal, to get 2 tougher games for the regular season. But you're trying to win the NBA Cup. So things like that just gonna have to happen. So again, hopefully the Raptors can find a way to respond and get themselves a win. Hope the Raptors medical staff can get magic things done with Barrett. I mean, he's gonna be reevaluated a week. There's nothing we can do to speed that up. We have to wait a week at least. He's got a plasma injection. I don't know much about plasma injections, but it doesn't seem like something that you really want. So not great from that perspective. Send him to the doctor that Austin Matthews went to. I'm sure the Raptors got a great medical team that are going to get him back as quick as possible. But unfortunately, for the time being, going to have to be patient with it. But man, we really do need this guy back. I mean, if he comes back, the Raptors are still bad. Then we have a fucking problem. What else can we say at that point? We'd be in deep shit, I think, at that point. But got to make that comeback. All right, a little bit early here, but I've got a bunch of plans tonight. So any final questions, I'm happy to stay and answer. If we don't get any more questions, then I am going to get myself to the gym. And I just got a gym membership because I moved and there's no gym in my building anymore, so I had to buy a gym membership, which is fine. My rent is cheaper, so cheaper for some reason. And one of the reasons is not having amenities with this spot, I guess. But unfortunately, I'm a little bit scared of going to the gym at 6 p.m. Because I think it's gonna be rammed at this time of day. Everyone going after work, so. We'll see when I get there. I've gone a few times to the gym since I moved here, and I've gone at 7 a.m. each time. Where it honestly is not. It's not dead. It's a little full. I'm not really waiting that long for machines, but there can be a wait. Man, it's gonna be busy. And even in the morning, you ain't getting a fucking treadmill, I don't think. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see what happens here. But I don't know. I'm looking forward to tomorrow. Look, it's been a rough run of games, guys, but I'm looking forward to it. NBA Cup quarterfinal win. You get a Vegas game. I'm pumped. let's go win this game, man. Hopefully the team is pumped as well. Matucci says they'd rather have a good chance tomorrow. I'll give him just under 40% chance of winning. So solid chunk, but Knicks are favored. Let's go find a way to win it. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to today's show. I'll be back tomorrow for a watch along. I'll be back on Wednesday and Friday for another Raptors Happy Hour stream. And hopefully after that, I'm here Saturday for a semifinal game of the NBA Cup. Thanks so much, everyone.